Recently, Google Ads announced changes to Performance Max. Finally, we've waited years for this, but specifically for those of us running campaigns geared towards store visits as our conversion goal, they're going to start dominating maps and search results instead of YouTube and display, which has been a major pain point for a lot of brick and mortar business, a lot of local businesses that need store visits and want to increase foot traffic. So kudos to Google to taking a few years, but finally getting it right. Hopefully, people are seeing a performance boost for those of you that do have that goal set up as a store visit. But it made me think, let's share some tips for increasing Performance Max for just about any type of business, because there's two or three things that I find really common when I audit accounts that have Performance Max. Usually, even if it's working well, these things are done incorrectly. And if changed, they can either take performance from negligible to existing or even higher conversion rates if those conversion rates are decent. So from taking from 3 to 5% to 6, 7, 8, 9, even double digit conversion rates. Only doing these couple things. So it's pretty powerful. We're going to hop in and use my Google ad account as we always do. So let's go take a look at our Google ads. And specifically, again, we're talking about Performance Max. So I do have a Performance Max campaign inside my account that we will use today. And the first thing I'm going to have you do is go to campaign settings. This is one of the first mistakes I find. I always go look for it. Under conversion goals, I will find multiple goals embedded in here along with a conversion-based bid strategy. Now, I want the conversion-based bid strategy in place, especially if there's a good history of conversions, whether those are form fills, purchases, or phone calls. But for Performance Max campaign, I really want a single goal. I want to give Google some horse blinders and say, look, this is really the main objective. You can make my phone ring, I will be happy. If you can get people to fill out this form, I will be happy. If you're an e-commerce brand, if you can get people to buy my product or a product off my website, I will be happy. Reduce this to a singular goal, especially when you start out. So I'm actually going to go in here and we're going to change this, put campaign specific, and I really just want lead forms for Performance Max, and then I'm going to hit save. That's the first step, reduce your goals. Now, my campaign, I had added some of those for this example. Oftentimes when I will audit an account, though, there will be 6 or 7 goals in there, and that's really what I'm talking about. We really want to reduce that. So if you have to keep phone calls and form fills, that's fine, taking it down to 2. But again, when I'm auditing these, I'm often finding a handful of goals, and some of them aren't even related. Things like page views, setting up, signing up for a newsletter, watching a video, plus making a purchase, filling out a form, and making a phone call. So reduce it. The goal should be 1. If you have to have a couple, that's fine. Also, make sure you're using a conversion-based bid strategy afterwards. That's step 1. Step 2, when I audit these accounts, I see way too many signals, all right? Let's go in here, and I'm going to hover over the pencil on the right-hand side. I'm inside my Performance Max campaign. I'm in the asset group here. I'm going to hit the pencil over signal. And again, I've planted some things in here, but when I audit accounts, I usually see up to 20 or 25, which is the max themes embedded in here in an asset group. We don't want to do that. That's way, way, way too many. Look at these as like, there's broad keywords. Look at these as like super broad keywords. We want to narrow this down. Let's get really, really niche. Listen, if your Performance Max campaign is kicking butt, you're not even watching this video. So if you are, you probably want to improve things, okay? In other words, let's start small and let's be conservative and get success. And then in the future, we can go back and add if we need to. I'm going to show you how we do that, though. We might not all put them in one asset group. So to start out with, we want to give Google some very strict directions and put horse blinders on the algorithm and say, look, this is all the thing that you're allowed to show my ad to, okay? So I've got, let's see, 6 search themes in here. And on the surface, it makes sense. I'm a Google Ads agency. It's all I do. I'm very niche. But there's some things in here that are pretty broad. The word Google Ads as a whole is in there. So that would prompt my ad to be shown for someone interested in Google Ads very generally. And there's also, let's see, Google Ads Optimization, digital marketing agency, which is also very broad. Yes, I am technically a digital marketing agency, I guess. But I don't do things like SEO or landing page creation or content or social media ads. So it's a little broad. I want to remove those. Look, if I was a marketing agency that had other services, we still would not put them in one asset group. We would separate these themes into different asset groups. And we're going to get back to this in a second. But for now, let's just clean up this by removing this Google Ads and removing digital marketing agency. I'm going to leave Google Ads optimization, PPC agency, Google Ads agency, and best Google Ads company. So it's only four. Four out of an available 25 is not a lot. They're all focused on Google Ads, though, and that's really what I want this search to be about. This asset group needs to be just about PPC. Listen, if you're a roofer and you offer roof repair, roof replacement, metal roofs, gutters, siding, anything else, don't put all of those concepts and services into one asset group. Separate them into separate asset groups or even separate campaigns, depending on the level of control you want for budget reasons to those specific services. Do not include them in one asset group. Okay, I got to repeat that. All right. If you're an e-commerce store, separate your asset groups again, maybe by product. It doesn't have to be the exact product. Maybe it's a product theme. All right. But put those themes inside here in one asset group and then put the other product themes in other asset groups and again, or other campaigns, depending on the level of control and the money you want spent across those different products. Get really niche, use fewer search themes. Okay. Again, you can always come back and add more or try different things, but when you start out or if performance is lackluster and you've been running Performance Max for a while, go in and clean up your search themes, reduce the number of search themes that you are using. I'm going to go down here and hit save. All right, I mentioned breaking up asset groups. You can do that. You can have multiple asset groups inside of a campaign. So inside the Performance Max campaign, we're on the asset group page. If you want to add a new one, you can copy the existing asset group. This is perfect if you're not really changing much, if you're just changing the language and the landing page. Again, if you have multiple products or services, you could copy the existing asset group and then replace those assets as needed. Or you can create a completely new one. E-com stores, listen up. I want you to try something if you haven't already. I want you to create a new asset group and put nothing in it. All right. No assets, no themes, no images, no headlines, no descriptions, a naked asset group. It looks a little bit like this real quick. Sorry for those of you not doing e-commerce, bear with me. I'm going to skip all of this. And all I want to do is make sure that I've got my Merchant Center account set up. Now, right now it's listed to all products. I don't have any products in my Merchant Center account. This is just for test purposes and for showing people how to do things. But if you have connected your Merchant Center account to Google Ads, it will display here. You can put all products or you can filter it again for specific products if you need to, which I highly recommend. Either way, I skipped past all those assets and I'm going to go down here and just hit save. That's a naked asset group. That's just a pure product feed. We're not done, okay? After a week or so, I want you to use this table tab up in the upper right-hand corner. And we're going to look at, I'm looking at a few metrics. To change these metrics, just hit this column button above the table and you can add the ones that are relevant to you. But I want you to compare the cost per conversion and the total conversions between these two asset groups. I would label one of these asset group one with assets, asset group two, naked product feed, right? This is again for e-commerce. And I would compare the two performance. You might be surprised to see that just the naked product feed is actually outperforming the asset group with all those different images and headlines because it's showing up in really random places when you have all those assets. And that's what Google wants. They want to display this across the internet. We really don't want that. We want to be particular, especially if it's shopping. We really just want to show our products instead of our images and videos. This is how you do that. Create a naked asset group. This is huge for e-commerce, okay? All right, real quick, I want you to click admin on the bottom left-hand side of your screen because this is huge. We just talked about how search themes are overused and how they're super broad. They allow a lot of impressions because we can't use some of the parameters that we have in search campaigns like phrase and exact match keywords. Most importantly, you can't have a negative keyword list. You can't block impressions from your ad being triggered unless you have an account level negative keyword list. So under admin, we're going to click that and go to account settings and we'll let this load. And then we're going to scroll down to negative keywords. These negative keywords are applicable to all campaigns. So please keep that in mind. It's not just Performance Max. It's any existing account and any future accounts or campaign inside your account. So be careful. You don't want to block too many words that you might need in the future for other campaigns. But there's probably a good number of irrelevant keywords that would be applicable across all campaigns existing and in the future. This is how you're going to use it. So I put some in here for me. I have a lot of people looking for work in digital marketing a lot of times. So regardless of what campaign I'm running now or in the future, those will always be irrelevant to me and I want to block them. So think of some negative keywords that are irrelevant to your business that you know, regardless of what campaigns you ever do in the future, you need to eliminate. These negative keywords will be applied to Performance Max. All right. Again, these negative keywords at the account level will be applied to Performance Max. It's the only way to do it. So please, please, please go set that. Last thing, real quick, I mentioned at the start of the video that Google had made changes for store visits. I want to make sure that everyone's using that right and making sure that they link Google My Business so that they can create a store visit goal. And again, if you do that, have that goal set up, go to Assets on the left-hand side, for those of you that don't know, and hit Location. Use the blue plus sign. Now, using the same email associated with Google My Business and Google Ads, it will pre-populate the Google My Business listings that you have access to. You'll select it and hit save. Now your Google My Business is attached, and you can go to goals and set up the goal for tracking things like get directions. It's actually going to populate under the goal tab as soon as that's set up. So what does that mean for Performance Max? Again, once you have that done, come back here to your campaign settings and change the goal to store visits, right? So I don't have a Google My Business account. I have a brick and mortar. So we can't do that with this particular campaign. But once you connect Google My Business and have that set up properly, you will see things like get directions populate here. And you can set up over time. You have to earn the right to get those store visits to populate. So run some Performance Max ads for a couple months and it should populate in here as store goal. Click the store goal and then remove all the other ones, okay? Have a singular goal for store visits. Guys, I hope that helps with your Performance Max campaigns. Again, it's really easy to overdo it when you're using Google's prompts and you're building these Performance Max campaigns. So if you just use caution and get really conservative, I think you'll start to see better success. But go do those things, reduce the search themes, separate asset groups by product and or services, reduce the number of goals in each campaign, and apply an account level negative keyword list. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Leave some comments and questions down below, and I promise I will answer them. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk to you later.